So we're live now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hi, good afternoon. Okay, we're gonna be doing Taglish. All right, that's for everybody. Pangmasa. So we're here at the Philippine Consulate office here in Los Angeles, and next to me is of course our Consul Badajos, Ed Badajos, and we have Miss Diane with us. Say hi.
Hi.
And of course we have one more.
Chris.
Vice
Chris.
Consul.
Hi, our Vice Consul is here as well. So, and of course, yung ating founder, Charles Chamorro.
Hello, everybody.
So, it's gonna be a Q&A this afternoon.
First of all, I would like to thank the Honorable Consul Badajos for gracing us with his presence in our group, and that he's here to answer all our questions, taking up a lot of his valuable and precious time to be with us all, and make sure everything is clear with everybody, so you know everyone knows what to do to make your visit easy at the consulate, and see how he could help us and how we could help them, make life easier for Filipinos here in SoCal.
Yeah.
Okay, so Consul, thank you so much.
Thank
Would
you.
you like to
Thank
say
you very much. Yeah, of
anything to
course,
our group of 40,000 members?
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much also for coming to my office, Charles and Cecil.
Our
And
pleasure.
magandang hapon sa ating mga manonood, to your 40,000 followers or members of SoCal. We really appreciate this opportunity to be able to have a dialogue with you, so that we can explain to you what we are doing here at the Philippine Consulate to service the more than 1 million Filipinos and Filipino Americans under our jurisdiction, to explain to you some of the hurdles that obstacles that we are facing, and how we can work together. We're not here to be fighting each other.
Right.
We are here to try to find common grounds by which we can, partner together in serving Filipinos and Filipino Americans under our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consul, if you see, there's a lot of hearts and
Yeah,
lights
yeah, of
coming up,
course,
so
yeah.
meaning a lot of
Yes.
people
There,
are
we have a
viewing,
lot of
and a lot of
viewers
people are
right
very
now.
supportive of you.
Yeah.
And our show right now, which we hope will be helpful.
Yeah.
So if you are ready, we could start with the questions
go ahead.
that the group has put forward.
Okay.
So
let's go.
their first question is, there's a lot of incidents right now that are racist, racism towards Asian Americans. Now it's been increasing and has been somewhat rampant.
Right.
If so, how can the consulate support and help protect the Asian community, particularly Filipinos, from this sad phenomenon right
Yeah.
now?
Okay. Thank you very much, Charles, for that very important question. Well, actually, even before coming to Los Angeles, because I came from Jeddah before coming
For
here.
Jeddah, I was in Saudi before.
Oh, is that so?
From the mom.
The mom. Oh,
Yeah,
you
din?
Oh, no. No, not really.
Okay, from Jeddah, yeah.
Jeddah. So,
Nice.
so coming from Jeddah, even before coming here, I already knew about these rising hate crimes.
Yeah.
Targeting Filipinos and other colored communities. And so, of course, the number one question there is, what can we do to help address this problem? So, in the case of the Philippine Consulate General, number one, as soon as I arrived here on April 6th, I already issued a personal statement expressing my concern over this sad phenomenon, as you mentioned,
Right.
and calling the attention of our Filipinos about this. Of course, you're already aware of it, and asking them to report any and all hate crime that they may experience personally or witness. Bring this to our attention so that we can report this to the police if they don't report it themselves to the police, so that we can provide any and all assistance that they may need from us. We have also called upon local officials and even wrote to state officials, calling their attention to this problem and asking them to please give this top priority.
Okay.
And we also, in my case, I also called on my fellow ASEAN diplomats and other members of the Los Angeles Consular Corps, and brought to their attention this rising problem of hate crimes. So marami tayong ginagawa. The main objective of all the efforts that we are doing in addressing this problem is to raise awareness about it, and to let local officials, the police, the law enforcement authorities, state officials, to let them know that we are closely watching the problem. We are closely monitoring the problem so that if they know that we are closely watching the problem, monitoring it, they will also make sure that whenever something happens targeting not just Filipino but any other member of the Asian or Asia Pacific Islander community, they will really act on it.
Yeah,
Okay?
because it's important in police matters to do a follow-up.
Correct.
Because they would boost the priority, the more people would
Yes.
prompt them.
So if they know that
Uh-huh.
we are watching them,
Mhm.
then they'll have really to take action, right?
And maybe publicize too, like what they're
yes.
doing. Now, Consul,
Mm-mm.
do Filipinos have any facility to use to report it, like an email address, a phone number to the consulate to report hate crimes, and then it would come to, you would be able to act on it, like what you
Okay,
said, by creating awareness, following
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
authorities,
Yes, yes,
and all
yes.
that.
We have published all our contact points
Mm.
in our website. It's actually
Okay.
very easy to navigate. But between the Philippine Consulate and the police,
Mhm.
between the Philippine Consulate and the FBI office here in the LA County, the first thing that you should call if you're a victim of a hate crime incident is 911.
911, yeah.
We got that briefing from the sheriff's
Right.
county department,
Right.
Sheriff Alex Villanueva. I attended their meeting on hate crime. This was a summit on hate crime. And they said, if you are a victim or are witnessing an active incident of hate crime, the first thing you call is not your consulate.
Yeah.
The first thing you call is
It's
911.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you feel like you feel more comfortable calling the consulate, this is the number. 213. If you can write it down, mga manonood
Okay.
natin.
Mhm.
213-587-0758. At yan po ang tinatawag natin na Assistance to Nationals Hotline. When you call
Okay.
this number, it's not a consulate personnel who will go to the site and provide active assistance to you,
Mhm.
because we are not the police.
Right.
What we will do is to in turn get in touch with the police
Mhm.
or the sheriff to send somebody to that site where the incident happened.
Mhm.
So, mga kababayan, kapag kayo ay nabiktima ng hate crime, the first thing you do, if it is an active case, call 911.
Right.
Okay? And the other number that you can call actually is an FBI number. We can give it to you too.
Mhm.
It's 1310-477-6565. Okay, so those are the numbers that you should call if you're witnessing an active case of hate crime incident.
Right.
Mm.
So yeah, they're gonna call them if it's occurring.
Right,
911.
right.
Pero as a secondary, they could also cross call your
Yeah,
number.
yeah, that's what.
So that
Mhm.
aside from the initial
Mhm.
call, there's also going to be an advocacy
Yeah.
to to help
Mhm.
follow up with this.
Right,
because,
right.
so it doesn't get buried.
Right.
Right.
in
So
the-
what we do
yeah.
is we receive calls also, but let me tell you, mula nung napapabalita na itong mga hate crimes na ito, although we are reading them mostly in the papers or watching them on TV, seeing them being reported on TV, the Philippine Consulate actually has not received any direct report
Aha.
of any hate crime.
Okay.
Yung kaso ni Mr. Enchano
Channel, yeah. Apa.
was only reported to us through, we came to TV, we came to know about it only through TV. The Enchano actually has not directly contacted us. Previous reports of hate crimes targeting Filipino members of the Filipino community, we have not received any direct report. But if we, for example, receive any direct report, of course, we will act on it. Okay? That is our obligation. That is our obligation. It's not like, we receive it, okay, put it on the site, I'll act on it tomorrow or next day. Hindi yung ganon. If we receive a call, if we receive a text, we will act on it right away. If the Filipino feels more comfortable calling or talking to us, they're more than welcome to report it to us.
You.
Okay? Simultaneous so yan. They have all the means and the resources. They have the choice to whether or not to go to the consulate or to the police or to the sheriff's department. Okay?
Baga,
Yeah.
meron na tayong ang dami nating viewers.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So the next the next question is there have been a lot of issues about the appointment system, not just for passport renewals or dual citizenship applications. Are there any plans for improvement, and how soon
Yeah.
can we
Okay.
implement these plans?
Okay, let me begin first,
Okay.
Macris. That's why I asked Vice Consul Macris Corrado to join us today, because
Right.
she will provide the details later on. But let me start by putting the question into context, okay? Yung sinasabing problem with the appointment system, the way to really understand it is to contextualize the issue.
You're right.
And how do you contextualize it? You have to divide it into periods. You talk about the pre-pandemic, the pandemic, and post-pandemic.
Right.
Pre-pandemic, 2019. Kailan ba nagsimula yung pandemic na yan?
March 2020 po.
March 2020. So, pre-pandemic, we were doing walk-in. Walang appointment.
Yeah, just walk.
Walang pandemic. Walang restriction. Anybody can come. Rumble yan. Parang Pilipinas. Rumble.
Kaya
Punta ka sa plaza. Okay.
Elevator.
So, during that time, pre-pandemic, you would see long lines. Okay, people just wanting, everybody just wanting to be admitted into the consulate. And because of that, the fire marshal came, calling our attention. Bakit kayo nagkaganyan? It's an issue to them. You cannot do that. Pre-pandemic, in other words, there was no system at all. Magulo. Okay? Pandemic came. So what happened during the pandemic? Ang nangyari, nagkaroon ng tinatawag na social distancing. Nagkaroon ng tinatawag na limitations on mass gathering. Nagkaroon ng travel restrictions. So because of all these restrictions, how many people can be admitted into the consulate? But even before that, the consulate had to shut down for how many weeks?
12 weeks.
12 weeks. For 12 weeks, how many were we admitting before the pre-pandemic?
For a day, sir, around 120 for passports.
Okay, 120 before pandemic yan, di ba? So you could imagine for those 4 months na nagsaradong consulate, mga application for passport, applicants for dual citizenship, notary, lahat yan hindi nakapunta. Nabinbin yan, di ba? Nabinbin. Nung dumating yung pandemic, we closed, and then in June of 2020,
Yes, sir.
we reopened. But because of restrictions, we can only admit up to 40.
Up to 40 po.
Up to 40 per day. Kasi bawal eh. Bawal. Sabi ng city health officials, sabi ng city government, sabi ng police, fire marshal, hindi ka pwedeng magtanggap ng marami dahil meron tayong ina-observe na social distancing. Yan, magkakasakit kayo, mamamatay kayo. Okay? So, because of that, yung nabinbin na 140 per day for the past 4 months, hindi mo pwedeng ubusin kaagad. Okay? So, pakonti-konti. And then, that's a pandemic period, di ba? And then, post-pandemic, anong ginawa natin? We reopen. We now are going to introduce an appointment system. Okay? Because we have to have a system, for God's sake.
Convenient para sa mga tao.
You cannot just admit any Tom, Dick, and Harry comes here. If you go to the US Embassy, what do you see there? People lining up. Because there's a system, right? Did you experience applying at the US Embassy somewhere elsewhere in Manila?
In Manila.
Isn't it that you had to wait too?
Yeah.
Isn't it that you also have to apply online and wait to be given an appointment?
Wala pa noon. Pero ngayon, I heard they do it online.
Today, if you apply at with the US Embassy, you have to do it online. And the earliest appointment that you can get is 2022. Dahil kinancel lahat yan for 2021 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Cancelled yan. If you apply today for a US visa, the earliest appointment that you can get is maybe August 2022. Okay. Do you see any Filipino complaining about it? Bakit ako makakuha ng appointment for my US visa application? Napaka-incompetent ng US Embassy na yan. Are we hearing Filipinos saying that? No, they're not. They are patiently waiting for their turn to be given a chance to apply for a US visa. My question is, why is it that when you apply at your own Philippine Consulate and are asked to wait also because of limited number of slots, because of pandemic, social gathering restrictions, mass gathering travel restrictions, why is it that when you cannot get an appointment, you immediately say you are incompetent, you are corrupt, you are selling slots? That's so unfair.
Yeah, so it's a good thing you got to clarify that.
And let me ask you also, Charles, let me ask you. You have a house here, right? How many can go into your house on any given day? What is the limit, the allowed capacity?
Pag may party, 10.
10, okay. Assuming that you wanted to admit all your friends, so you invited 100 friends to your house and had party till 10 p.m. What will happen?
magulo.
Aside from that,
I will have to get a clubhouse. in,
what maybe the police will go to your
community.
house,
Yeah.
maybe the fire marshal will go
Yeah.
to your house. Oh, Mr. Charles, what are you doing? You're disturbing the entire neighborhood, right?
Right.
Because there's what you call as a limit, a maximum allowed capacity.
Got it. Well,
You think of the Philippine Consulate as a house, and you have to understand that the Philippine Consulate is just renting one floor in this building, which we share with other tenants. You have to understand that the space we're using can only accommodate so many people in any given day. So even if you want to admit more than 70 or 90 per day para matulungan namin lahat mga applicant, we cannot because of the pandemic, because of the limitations on the occupancy. Ayun, occupancy limitation, right? Only up to 90 or 70 nga ang limit. 70 per day. If you go beyond 70, pupunta kami ng fire marshal. Pupunta kami ng building management. What are you doing? You better leave this building because you're violating our policy. So please understand, mga kababayan, why is it that we are only admitting a limited number of applicants per day at your consulates? Because of number one, during the pandemic, merong limitations on social gathering. We can only admit so many. At that time, only 40.
At the maximum, sir, actually first time is 26 lang.
26 lang. Ganun kakonti. Not because we wanted to only admit 20, but because we had to. It was compulsory in our part to admit only 26 people because that's what the city government says. That's what the health officials said. That's what Mayor Garcetti said. And everybody else was following the instruction. And also, we had to cancel our consular outreach program dahil may travel restriction. We cannot go to Las Vegas. We cannot go to San Diego. We cannot go to Arizona. We cannot go to Bakersfield para magpapassport. Lahat tumigil. Lahat tumigil. But now, you're asking about improvements. With the restrictions being lifted gradually, the first improvement that we have done is to go back to the normal. What do you mean by that? We are now again admitting more than 100 applicants per day.
Yes, sir.
More than 100 applicants per day. We are now admitting walk-in applicants. But the walk-in applicant is only for the elderly, for the visibly pregnant women, and for the physically challenged people. Yun lang. And now we are also doing consular Saturday services for dual citizenship and passport. We are now also going out again of Las Vegas. We went to Los Angeles, We went to Las Vegas. We already went to Arizona. Next week, we will be going to Las Vegas again. Then after that, we'll be going to San Diego. Now, you may wonder, bakit ang dami pa ring reklamo? Because of the stoppage for work before. Because noong panahon ng pandemic, talagang nag-accumulate. At hindi naman pwedeng in 1 week, ubos mo lahat yan. We are doing what I call mopping up operation. So please, mga kababayan, please bear with us. Inuubos natin lahat yan hanggat matapos natin lahat mga nabinbin nung mga panahon na talagang pinagbawalan tayong bumiyahe, tumanggap ng maraming tao din sa konsulado, mag-process ng mas marami, more than what we can handle here at the consulate. We are doing all we can. It is not, please understand mga kababayan, it is not in our interest not to do anything that we can do to make your travel to the consulate better or more pleasurable. Because it is our mandate, our obligation to provide good service to you.
Okay, so that's a very good explanation,
Yes.
Consul. So they're doing their best with what they have, with the cards they are dealt with. So let's show them some understanding. Now, Consul, if I may interject, somebody's asking, is there any plan for you to get like some temporary expansion of the consulate, like hiring like a 3-month space,
Okay,
a
very good,
short-term
very good.
lease?
Okay, very good. Okay,
Yeah.
so, babalikan natin yung ating space, no?
Apo.
Okay, yung rental ng space natin, it's a very good suggestion. But you've got to, again, contextualize it. You have to deal with realities if you're working in government.
Yeah.
It's not like in the private sector that when you need money, andyan na, madali. Di ba? Madali. But if you work in government, dadaan ka sa budgeting process. Magre-request ka sa Manila. The approval takes time. Ang rental natin dito is good for 5 years. It's a 5-year contract. But we are already talking to the realty company, requesting them if it's possible for us to transfer to a bigger space. Okay? Pero, yung paglipat po sa mas malaking space, it's not like an instant noodle that because we want it now, today I can get it too. Because you have to transfer to a bigger space so that you can accommodate more people, then next week lumipat ka na Philippine Consulate. Because if you're not going to transfer, then you are incompetent. That's wrong. You have to understand our budgeting process. If we are going to move to a bigger space, not this year, because ang kontrata pirmado na ikaw kung nagre-renta ka. Can you cancel your contract anytime? No, because you will be penalized.
Yeah.
Because you signed up for a 1-year contract. Therefore, you have to finish that contract, right? So ganun din ho tayo. If we're going to move to a bigger space, we have to allow the current contract to expire. And we are going to propose already this year a bigger budget. And let's hope that that budget gets approved. Because the budget is not something that we just get from our pocket. It comes from Manila. Manila's budget, DFA's budget, is approved not by DFA itself, but by Congress. By Congress. Congress approves it, it goes to the president who signs it, and that is the only time that we can use the money and transfer to a new space. Hindi ho ganun kasimple, mga kababayan, that you are renting a house, that you feel the house is too small, I'll transfer next week. Hindi ho ganun. May proseso. I'll connect that to the number of people here working at the consulate. Maybe you will again suggest to me, which is understandable. Kung konti pala ang inyong napaprocess, why don't you bring in more people from the Philippines? Para mas marami kayong maservisyohan. If you're only 30 now, why don't you bring in 50 or 100 para lahat maservisyohan? Again, mga kababayan, Charles and Cecil, hindi ho ganoon kasimple. I'm sorry to disappoint your expectation. Because to bring in more people to the Philippine Consulate to work for us and to serve the more 0.3 million Filipinos in our jurisdiction, we need to get first and foremost permission from the US government. Because deployment of foreign service officers to this country and US foreign service officers to the Philippines is based on reciprocity. Kung ilan ang bilang ng opisyales mo sa Manila, ganun din dapat ang bilang ng opisyales mo dito. You cannot exceed. Kung sabi namin we need 50 more people, sabi ng US Department of State, teka mo na. Sobra-sobra na yan. Hindi ko kami papayag. It's never not within our hands completely. It's not our call. We cannot just say today, Jos, can you tell Manila to send 50 reinforcement here? Because Charles and Cecil are already complaining. We cannot just do that. We have to seek the permission of the US government, number one. Number two, we have to have again the budget for that. Okay? Because when you deploy a personnel here, kailangan may budget ho yan. Kung hindi ho nakasama sa budget ng DFA this year, yung additional 5 personnel kunyari, they cannot be deployed. And you know how the budgeting works in Manila? The budget for 2022, tapos na yon. At pag-uusapan ngayon. Ngayon magkakaroon ng mga hearing sa Congress, magpropose ang mga iba't ibang ahensya ng ating gobyerno kung anong gagamitin nilang budget for next year. Ganon yun eh.
Right.
Okay? So, before December, dapat ma-approve na yung budget na yan, mapirmahan ni Presidente yung budget proposal. Okay? For 2022, magme-meeting ulit for the budget for 2023. Ganon yun.
Right.
So it's not so easy, mga kababayan. Budget-wise and also in relation to the U.S. Department of State, may say po yung mga yan. We are of course already thinking of increasing the number of personnel working here at the Philippine Consulate, but it takes time. Do not think that we are not thinking of that. We are. Mahirap po.
So Consul, mayroon bang matutulong ang mga Philippine citizens or Philippine, may Philippine heritage sa LA to clamor for increasing your budget? Could we sign do something? What could we help?
Well, you can sign a petition,
Yeah.
but ultimately the decision is up to our
Yeah.
Congress.
To the Congress.
Yeah, it's up to the Congress. Kasi sila ho, remember, if you read the Constitution, do you still read the Philippine Constitution?
I read it before.
What did you remember? On the provisions on the House of Representatives.
Oh, please enlighten us.
Okay.
Yeah.
it is the House of Representatives that which has what we call the power of the purse. Siya po ang gumagawa ng budget. The President proposes the budget, but it's the House that approves how much will be spent by the government per year. Okay? So maybe, well, if you can send maybe petitions to your Congress people in the House of Representatives, maybe they will listen. Baka makatulong yon. But I'm saying is that ultimately the decision is on them. Okay? We can also propose as the Department of Foreign Affairs, kaya nga meron tayong mga tinatawag na budget life cycle, budget proposals, ini-invite ang mga bawat departamento, nagkakaroon ng mga budget hearing. Kailan ba nagsisimula ang budget hearing?
June, July.
June, July, nagsisimula na yan. O Department of Foreign Affairs, pumunta ka dito, humarap ka sa amin sa Committee on Budget, tell us how much you need for next year. May propose kang damihan ng iyong tao sa consulate sa LA, okay, isama mo yan, bakit mo gustong gawin? So nakapasok
O
yan.
kaya kahit temporary, kasi hindi naman
It's
permanent
not possible.
situation.
No, it's not possible.
Kailangan permanent talaga.
Yeah. Wala ho tayong mga, okay, eto rin. Meron tayong mga tinatawag na contractual local hires. Okay? Local contractual. But even that contractual local hires, limited ho yung bilang. Limited din ang bilang at yung budget din nakakabit yan. At nakadepende rin yan kung ilan ang i-approve ng US Department of State.
Got it.
Okay? So it's not like today, because I'm the Consul General, I decide to hire 20 temporary personnel. Tomorrow, I decide that we move to a bigger place in downtown LA. Tomorrow, I'll decide that we will accept again so many people. No, it's not like that. There are a lot of factors beyond our control. Budget approval, US Department of State, space limitations, contractual limitations, marami yan. Okay? So, ang pakiusap ko po sa ating mga kababayan, please, before you ask questions or start throwing criticisms against your own consulate, pag-aralan muna natin. Ano ba ang aking napapansin na problema? Maaring may rason kung bakit hindi ito nagagawa. Maaring may rason kung bakit di makalipat ang ating konsulado sa mas malaking space. Maaring may rason kung bakit di makakuha ng mas maraming tao o hindi maka-hire ng temporary personnel as you're suggesting, because it's not that simple. Okay?
Ngayon po, Honorable Consul, may nagtatanong. Si Diana is asking if the budget is the problem, maybe you could get some volunteers from the Filipinos here. I don't know if that's feasible.
It's not feasible.
It's not,
It's not
kasi
feasible.
you have
Alam
to
mo,
be qualified, right?
hindi lang yun. Alam mo, minamanmanan tayo ng US Department of Wages and Labor. At tinitingnan, yan ba ay may ginagawang trabaho? They're very strict. We are not, okay, mga kababayan, sinong si Shadow?
Si Diana.
Si Diana. Diana, alam niyo po, we are not operating in a vacuum. We are operating within a system. A system wherein we need to follow rules and regulations about the engagement of services, of permanent employees, of contractual employees, and even of volunteers. Hindi ho ganun kadali. Even interns, may regulation ho yan sa ating department. As to how many interns can we admit and whether or not, if at all, we are going to allow interns.
Yeah, because they have access to sensitive
Correct,
information
yeah.
and baka we want to
Right,
avoid manipulation.
right.
Kaya hindi talaga pwede.
Right. Okay.
So,
Any more questions?
Question, okay. So the third question is passport renewal requirements. What are your plans to improve communications regarding requirements? How soon can you implement these improvements, if any? Kasi sometimes the people go here na wala silang, sufficient requirements. So tapos they get turned away, nagagalit sila. So dapat siguro we double our,
Or maybe,
information.
or maybe the applicant should also try to do his or
Don't
her
do diligence.
homework.
Yeah.
Diba?
Own homework. Ngayon po, meron din silang concern na
Kasi it seems like sometimes, sa totoo lang, they're also nasanay sa spoon feeding.
Correct.
So
I
they
agree.
thought na,
I agree.
yeah,
I
kaya
agree.
akala nila, pagdating nila dito, kulang ako ng ganito,
Oo.
pwede na yan. Pero dapat
And
siguro
then
basahin.
ibabato ngayon yung kulang sa amin.
Yeah.
When in fact, I'd like to reverse the situation, Charles. I think I beg to differ. if you are the applicant for a passport renewal, for example, you're the one who needs something. Before you even go to the consulate, you have to do your due diligence. You have to prepare. You read our website. Can you show our website? Yeah.
Okay.
The website. You can actually see everything. You click on consular services.
So, para makita yung requirements,
Okay, passport, yeah.
consular.
If you click on the passport icon, click it. Ayan. Ayan, nandiyan yung mga reminders at nandiyan yung iba't ibang, ganito kasi yun,
Category.
sa passport requirements sa Cecil and Charles, sa mga manonood natin, malaho tinatawag na one size fits all.
Right.
Iba-ibang requirement, iba-ibang situation. So we cannot issue like a one-page infographic wherein you will find all the information for any and all situation pertaining to passport needs. Iba-iba yan eh. Yung requirement for somebody who is only applying for the first time, iba. Doon sa mag-apply for a renew or replacement of lost passport, mag-iba yun. You cannot put them together.
Right.
So my appeal to our kababayan, before even coming to the consulate, please read our website.
Read the website. Ano po yung website natin?
It's philippineconsulateLA.org.
philippineconsulateLA.org. So isulat nyo and bago pumunta rito, magbasa muna tayo
Okay.
ng requirements para pagdating dito tapos kulang yan, pinaalis kayo, hindi kayo magkagalit. Okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many hours or minutes do you devote reading your Facebook page?
A day, it depends, mga 2 to 5 hours.
Ikaw, Cecil.
Ganun din.
Ganun din,
I would
5.
say between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Pero,
Now, 2, 3, 5 hours. Ganun. If you can only use 10, 15 minutes of that 5 hour that you consume you reading your Facebook messages to read our website, even before you even visit the consulate, it would help a lot. Kasi nandun na lahat to. Yung mga requirements. For example, category passport application. Pick
Basahin
one.
natin yung
Sabi
I'm a
niya,
Filipino by birth, naturalization, election. So, yung mga requirements nakalista na dyan. If
Click
you
mo
click
nga.
it,
Okay.
so andun na lahat eh.
Ayan.
So-
Requirement. Ayan, no?
For
so
applicants,
iba-ibang
click
category,
here.
iba-ibang
So,
requirements.
just i-prepare nyo na lang to lahat
Oo.
pagka punta nyo rito para
Oo.
wala nang samaan ng
Oo.
loob.
Tsaka,
And then ang nangyari
Huwag
kasi,
makalimot.
ang nangyari kasi, kunyari, pumunta dito, may kulang siya. Which is, at ang kulang, it just so happens to be a mandatory requirement. Ngayon, galing pa ho ako ng San Diego.
San Francisco.
Ang layo ho, ang layo. Papabalikin niyo pa ako eh. Pag hindi kita pagbigyan, napakasungit ng consulate. Hindi siya understanding. Bakit ganun ang ating konsulado, suplado? Now, the point is, the process actually started with you, right? From where you were before coming to the consulate. It started when you thought about renewing your passport, for example. And when that thought entered your mind, dapat ginawa mo na lahat ng dapat magagawa mo to make sure that when you appear here at the consulate, lahat bit-bit mo. So you don't end up blaming the consulate for what you lacked.
Right.
Right?
Kasi alam nyo, Mr. Consul, sanay din kasi yung mga we've lived in America for so long. Like for example, kinuha ko yung vaccine ko from Kaiser Permanente. So, ang may appointment lang yung asawa ko. Nagbaka sakali ako to go there. So, when I got to Kaiser Permanente, sabi ko sa I don't have an appointment, but if you have any extras, could I get vaccine? And the nurse there was so accommodating. Sabi, okay, and she did the process right in front of me, even if I didn't do an appointment online. And that for me is a very proactive way of dealing with things, because Kaiser Permanente is a very professional company. Now, would the consulate have something like that na fail-safe measure? Let's say they fail to do this because people are human. People will forget things, people will not read. And it's prevalent among our, people to do that. So, would there be like a center where they could print things, they could pay for things to be printed? Na hindi naman mahal, like $20 per page, like I think yung one of the
May isang member
may isang member natin
sabi
that's
niya
saying
$18.
$18. Yeah.
Let me clarify ha.
Hindi ko alam.
Yung photocopier na yan,
Yeah.
we don't, wala ho kaming, mga kababayan wala tayong ina-accredit na ahensya or opisina sa labas ng konsulado dito sa building na ito ino-authorize na gumawa ng photocopy for that amount. If you go to those places, call nyo ho yan.
Pero, Consul, when you walk into the building, nakalagay Philippine Consulate. So they're using the name
Saan
of the
nakalagay?
Sa tapat po yata ng bintana nila. Philippine
Sir,
Consulate.
that's what we've been trying to get
Yung
them to take out.
nakalagay
If I
yung mga
may-
signs.
Yeah,
in
please,
it.
please.
If I may, sir. So there were, before that we were a part of the Apostille Convention, the Consulate General accredited a number of notarial services for notary services po. Now, unfortunately, some of them still have the words accredited by the Philippine Consulate General placed in their placards. Now, we're doing our best to have that
We are
taken
talking to
out.
them.
Yeah, we are
We're
talking to them. Because we know that there's misrepresentation.
Okay, thank you so
We're
much for
talking to them.
clarification.
Oh.
We're also talking about an in-house, maybe, print center that they could pay. I mean, we're not asking you to do it for free, but people are human. Like
Oh,
yun nga.
ito rin.
Hindi
Okay.
na lang.
I think ito kasi we have to seek appeal again to your understanding. Ang ating sistema ho kasi talagang marami pang dapat nating ayusin. We are following Commission on Audit rules and regulations ng Pilipinas. Yung pag-i-install at pag-operate ng photocopier, matagal na ho naming pinag-uusapan with COA. At talaga hong lahat ng mga Philippine Consulate or Embassy ay pinagbawalan na mag-operate ng photocopying machine inside their premises. Don't blame me. Don't say, bakit di? Please talk to COA. It's their regulation, not ours. We are under COA. We're being audited by COA.
So yeah,
And again, we go back again to my previous statement na sana ho kung kayo ay pupunta dito. Of course, we're just humans. You're correct na may nakakalimutan. But if that requirement that you forgot is a mandatory requirement, we're sorry. But we cannot waive it.
So, ganun
We
na
cannot
talaga.
waive it.
Yeah.
Kailangan talaga mag-due
Mas
diligence.
due diligence sila.
Ngayon,
Okay, para tuloy yung video natin.
Ngayon, I'm sorry, bumabalik ako because you said, nasanay kayo sa America that they have fail-safe mechanisms here. Iba-iba kasi yung sistema eh.
Right.
And the passport and the other consular documents, they're not like vaccines na kung may available supplies dyan, because it's in line with the program to vaccinate everybody,
Yeah.
right? In fact, they're paying people to get vaccinated, right? So if you actually wanted to be vaccinated, they were just so thankful na nagpa-vaccinate kasi because they want to achieve 100% vaccination in America. Iba yung situation natin dito sa konsulado because we're talking of vital Philippine documents wherein you need some documents to be presented really. Again, I go back to my previous example. If the US authorities require you to submit a document and you forgot it somehow, can you tell me? Do you even talk to the US consul? Do you appeal to him, sir? Baka pwedeng pagbigyan. No, you listen, you follow right away.
Yeah.
Please don't use double standard for your own government. Di ba? Ito pa, you appear before US offices. DMV, SS, ano pa?
Insurance. Sa like medical.
And then we know how they do things here. Right? Very black and white ang mga Amerikano, di ba? You do this, you do that. You line up, you don't line up. Ganun yun eh. Walang ifs and buts, right? And it's so sad na when our I'm not generalizing. When some of our fellow Filipinos appear before these US offices and they're told to do something, that they're told that this cannot be done, they follow. They line up. They follow regulations. But then when they come to us and they're told that, hey, I'm sorry, but this is a regulation, they question everything. They don't fall in line. They don't follow. Why? Right?
So siguro na
You go
lang.
to the US Embassy.
They have to.
Di ba? Makikita mo talaga ang ganda ng pila. Makikita mo pag sinabing denied ka ng US visa, wala na. Lapas ka agad. Sumusunod. Punta ka sa DMV, sabi sa'yo, wala, you cannot do it now, you come back next day. Sunod ka agad, di ba? O hindi sabihin na, wala pa kayong photocopier dyan, can you photocopy it for me because I forgot my document? No, I don't see that being done in a US office by a Filipino. They follow. They come here, they forgot something, when it's their obligation to produce it, to bring it with them, and they're told to, no, you cannot because of this. Hindi. Dapat serbisyohan mo ako. Wag naman ganon. You know, para ho maserbisyohan natin lahat, we are appealing to your understanding. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. Okay, let's help each other, right? What we are trying to do is to make us all get used to a system also. What do you prefer? A situation where there is no system, or a situation where there is a system?
Oh, with the system.
Yeah, exactly. Diba? Oh, can we go to the next question?
Okay, the next question. What are the three main advantages of being a dual citizen?
Yeah,
Good
ganda yan,
question.
ganda yan. Okay. This one you can really appreciate because you're into real estate, diba?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, if you're a dual citizen ho, then you can buy again lands in the Philippines because as a general rule, foreigners, even former U.S. citizens, former Filipino citizens who have become U.S. citizens but who are not dual citizens, hindi ka pwedeng bumili ng lupa. Kailangan Filipino ka. Because ang lands in the Philippines are only available for sale to Filipino citizens.
Right.
As a dual citizen, you can vote. And you can get elected into public office. You can
So
get
buying
appointed
land,
also,
voting.
right? You can practice professions that are limited, restricted to Filipino citizens, right? You can engage in business or profession as a Filipino citizen, right? You can be appointed as ambassador if you become a Filipino citizen, except that you need to renounce your American citizenship.
Oh, okay.
Diba? Si Cecil can be appointed as Secretary of the Commission on Finance, diba? Para baguhin mo lahat ng mga regulation na hindi maganda.
Kaya yun sa COA.
Maging COA
Pwede na
dito.
raw mag-photocopy ang
yes.
It's okay.
Diba?
Taga-bilang lang ako.
Diba? Para
Taga-bilang
baguhin
lang
mo
ng
ngayon.
numbers.
No, you can, as a Filipino citizen. So marami yung mga advantages, right?
So kaya lang, okay, I have a follow-up question on
Sure.
that. Kasi actually meron tayong mga mahigit 7 members na nag-email tungkol sa follow-up question regarding dual citizenship. So yung question po nila, ang concern kasi nila, yes, we love to, you know, to be a dual. Kaya lang yung pinaka-concern nila is yung taxable implication.
Okay, mali
So-
yan. Okay, liwanagin natin.
Okay.
Kapag ikaw ay naging dual citizen, anuman ang kikitain mo dito sa Amerika ay hindi ka hahabulin ng ating BIR. Hindi ka matatax.
US income is not taxable
Oo.
by BIR.
It's non-reported.
Only if you earn income in the Philippines. Siyempre, tataksin ka ng ating gobyerno. Okay? Ano pa? At siyempre, kung meron kang ari-arian sa Pilipinas, real property, kunyari, meron kang 10 hectares sa Bulacan, kunyari, meron kang 20 hectares where are you from in Makati. Kunyari, meron kang 20 buildings, you own 20 buildings in Ayala Avenue, for example, Charles, no? Then you have to pay, of course, naturally, the real estate tax. Because doon located yung property mo. But if you're not earning any personal income in the Philippines, okay ka lang. Walang problema. Don't be afraid. You don't that when you become a dual citizen, naku, tataksin na ako ng Philippines. Hindi yung ganun. Only if you go back and earn money in the
Over in
Philippines.
Philippines.
But if you're just earning money here, it's okay.
Meron pong question, magkano ang price for dual citizenship? Si Charity ang as Charity Puno. At anong mga requirements nasa website yun?
Nasa website
Pero
yung
yung-
requirement.
yung price
Ang
natin-
price, alam nyo, napakamura. $50. $50 lang.
Yeah.
Very cheap. But what will it bring you? A lot of benefits and privileges.
A lot.
Right?
Ganda pa naman yata mag-invest sa Philippines.
Maganda ngayon. Ganda ngayon.
Sir,
Ayan, yung mga
dapat po
requirements.
cash lang po ka tayo.
Okay, cash lang mga
cash lang,
kasama.
ha?
Oh, ito pang isang...
Alkansya nyo, dalhin nyo na.
Ito pa kasing isang narinig namin na complaint eh. Bakit ayaw yung tumanggap ng credit card? May visa ako, oh.
Cheque.
May cheque ako.
sundin na ito.
Bakit cash lang kayo?
We can have cash, cashier checks, or
Oh.
postal money order. We also want to accept cashless payments. However, it's up to Manila. It's a policy.
Oo nga.
So policy ng Manila is
Policy
cash.
talaga.
Oo nga.
So
COA ulit.
Philippine government
COA
ulit.
may
COA.
policy yan.
COA.
So,
Sige.
I will petition for Cecil to be appointed as COA auditor para baguhin niyo ho ang
Tama yan.
regulation. Para payagan ng mga embassy at konsulado na tumanggap ng credit card payment. Pero until we have that regulation, hindi pwede.
Consul, sorry, if I interject this.
Sure, sure.
Is there a way that you could commission, not directly by the consulate, a third party to have reasonable photocopying and printing services in case those people, as a fail-safe measure? Third party, hindi yung...
We cannot commission it. We
not-
cannot
yeah.
because it's against regulations.
Against COA.
Bawal kami mag-engage in private transactions.
Mm.
In fact, kahit sino naman pwedeng kung merong enterprising individual,
Yeah.
magtayo siya.
Tama. You can,
Yeah, magtayo na lang
Kung
sila.
meron sa inyong gusto, magtayo kayo ng,
Yeah.
Oo.
Magrenta kayo ng space sa baba.
alternative photocopying and printing service
Yeah.
para sa mga nakakalimutan.
Yeah.
Yung mga papeles.
Ang alam mo ang technique diyan bago kayo umalis ng bahay, gumawa kayo ng to-do list.
I-print. diba?
1 week before.
Ako mahilig ako mag-print.
1 week before, 3 days before,
Right.
the day
Yeah.
before.
O i-post mo sa refrigerator so that in the morning when you have breakfast, nakita mo, reminder to myself, kailangan ko pala magdala ng photocopy ng aking birth certificate, gano'n, di ba? So that you don't forget,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Okay. So next question.
Mm.
How would your administration help the undocumented Filipinos to preserve their humanity and dignity?
Oh, okay. Magandang tanong yan. Really, this is something that we can work together on.
Yeah.
Sa mga ganyan mga kababayan natin, maaari naming bigyan ng legal advice. We can refer them to lawyers dito and NGOs like the Filipino Workers Center. If they really need financial assistance and we can justify na kailangan talaga, we can request financial assistance from Manila. For example, nung pumunta kami ng Arizona, merong mag-ina doon na be victim of domestic violence yung nanay, and they were now living outside the home. So hiningan namin ng financial assistance yung mag-ina para meron silang magastos while waiting for the processing of their case. We can point these fellow Filipinos of ours to the right resources, NGOs. Kung kinakailangan mag-issue tayo ng passport to them or travel document, we can issue. Basta ho sila ay Filipino citizen pa. Kung kinakailangan umuwi na talaga at wala nang pambili ng ticket, we can request that they be provided with a plane ticket one way to the Philippines, also using a travel document. Okay? But please mga kababayan, dapat ho maintindihan ninyo na hindi ho sakop ng aming mandado na tulungan kayo magkaroon ng US citizenship dito sa Amerika o maging green card holder.
Bahala na sila.
Bawal po sa amin yan.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we are also planning to enter into a memorandum of understanding with a lawyers group para magbibigay kami ng legal clinic na tinatawag sa ating mga kababayan na yan. Consultation na libre.
Yeah.
Okay?
Consul, meron
Yeah.
din ho kaming in our group SoCal Pinoys, there's a lot of people that are willing to help.
Ayan.
In fact, natulungan si Lolo Marcelino.
Si
Lolo
Lolo
Nora.
and
And we have a non-profit that could
We
help
can
out.
do that. We can
So
work
we
together
could
actually.
talk about
So,
that.
in fact, I was going to mention that we are doing also webinars wherein we invite resource speakers to talk about immigration matters, for example, their rights and remedies under US laws. So, kung meron kami gagawing webinar doon, maybe we can invite.
We'll be happy to broadcast it
Okay,
in our group.
yeah, and in broadcast, or even if you have some people who can speak, we can invite them.
We can invite them.
Yeah.
What about the attorneys in our group?
We can, yeah,
attorneys.
they're willing to share their time,
Yeah.
and
and
effort
talent.
and energy.
Yeah.
They
Time
can,
and talent and energy.
they can come here, then they can talk. Pwede yun. Yeah, maganda yan.
Magandang
Yeah.
So it's
collaboration.
it's really a good collaboration.
Yeah, so now it's going to be a
between SoCal
collaboration
and also
between SoCal and the Philippine Consulate in terms of providing legal information.
Legal
Okay.
information.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
So next question, ano po yung mga existing platforms, if any? Before I do that, do we have a portion in our website where you have links to people to like Filipino Worker Center, yung mga na-mention yung organization that could help out the
Okay.
people.
Yung laman ng ating website, may mga external links.
The external links siguro.
Naman.
Sige.
We have yung
We have useful links
Useful
regarding the government. Now, if you want to have our links, for example, our non-government organizations that we work with, you just look for it in our Facebook page,
Yeah.
because every time we work with them, in our press releases, nakalink po sila doon.
Yes.
So,
Sa
for
Facebook
example,
page.
Oo.
yes. So, for
Kasi
example,
yung laman
PWC,
ng Josh.
Sir, if I may say, there are around 500 Philcom organizations, so we cannot just link
Put them
Well,
all
just
in.
the major ones like Filipino Worker Center. yung
Yeah,
mga-
but we
Sa-
cannot,
sa
if
Facebook.
we choose
Sa
one,
social media page.
we cannot have all. But on our official Facebook page, every time we work with them,
Yeah.
they are
We
on
tag
our,
them,
we tag
yeah.
them.
At saka yung laman kasi ng, okay, there are two things. We're talking about two things here. One is our Facebook page, social media page,
Yeah.
which we control.
Yeah.
The other one is the website, which is being controlled by Manila.
Mhm.
Yung content ho ng website natin
In accordance with
is in
the-
accordance with the template
Okay.
prescribed by Manila. And that's uniform among all Philippine consulates and embassies worldwide. And kung anong ina-allow na ipasok na content, yun lang ang pwede nating ipasok.
Mhm.
Yung Facebook, we are more, you have more freedom.
May,
leeway.
you have more
Yeah.
control
Right,
locally.
Isalin niyo po yung Facebook page sa Socal Pinoy.
Yes.
Why not?
Nakasali na ba?
No, we can. If it's okay with you, after our meeting today, we can come up with a graphic code card showing that we met today
Yeah.
and showing your link, your
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, our
We
website.
will
And then
tag
this
your-
this interview will be published on our website too,
Oh,
our
but
YouTube channel.
yeah,
YouTube.
okay. So gagawin din namin yan. So with your permission today, after our meeting, we'll have a picture. Then we'll
Oh,
come up
yeah,
with a
of course.
press short press
Biographical
release.
Yes.
That today I met with Charles and Cecil, and that they are representing SoCal, and then lalabas din yung inyong link website.
Yeah.
Link.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
sure.
Okay, so
Mm.
on to the question.
Mm.
Ano po yung mga existing platforms, if any, and proposed future projects to protect our kababayan senior citizens and the ones without proper documentation? I think na-address
Na-address na
Na-address
natin
na.
yun.
Okay.
Mm.
What are the top 5 priorities of your administration to help promote Filipino-owned businesses?
Okay.
So this is big kasi ang daming naging business
Yes.
na mga
Yeah.
Pinoy nung pandemic
Oo.
na ngayon nagpo-post sa Socal.
Naging
Oo,
small
oo.
business owners.
Yeah,
Business
yeah.
owners,
Yeah, yeah. Magandang tanong yan.
Mhm.
If you have been monitoring or following our website and even Facebook page, meron kaming project na Lutong Pinoy, Lasang Pinoy. And
Lutong
this is-
Pinoy, Lasang
mm.
Pinoy.
And this is promoting two things. One is Filipino cuisine,
Mhm.
and two is the Filipino-American restaurant itself. Because at the end of the show, it is a small clip. Hinikayat natin yung mga manonood to try Noy Pits, for example, to try
Jerry's
Spoon and Pork,
LA Rose.
LA Rose,
Jerry's Grill.
Jerry's Grill.
Yeah,
Kasi
all
sila naapektuhan
Filipino.
Yeah.
ng pandemya. So that's number one. Number two is meron tayong ongoing dialogue with the Small Business Administration because I think SBA, there are funds available to
Ay, yung mga loans
Yes,
nila,
yes,
mga loanable
yes.
loans.
loans or
Loans.
restaurants na naapektuhan, they can get loans to jumpstart their business. Kausap natin yan. And we also are working with the trade office here. Meron silang trabaho, negosyo, kabuhayan series, webinars yun, talking about franchising in the Philippines. Meron tayong mga quarterly webinar series talking about financial investment opportunities. Again, here is a challenge to you. Kung meron kayong mga members na mga financial experts, even realtor like you can talk in that program of ours,
Aha.
just informing our kababayan, ano bang pwede nyo natin gawin during this time
Right.
para bumangon. Is it the right time to buy real estate now in the US? Magandang
It
tipo.
depends.
Yeah, okay. So maybe you can talk, di ba?
Yeah.
Because you're a realtor, di ba? And so yun ang mga platforms natin. So the priority is trying to help the Philippine economy recover. And how do we do that? By encouraging investments from here to go to our country, more trade to our country, and also we're trying to jumpstart Philippine tourism because Philippine tourism is a major driver of Philippine economy. kapag nagbukas na ulit ang ating Philippine economy, we would like to bring in more visitors to the Philippines. Right?
Right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Really good.
Right.
Okay, so next question. Sana po magkaroon kayo ng regular.
Wala na yun.
Oh,
The
okay,
last
wala na yun, ano?
Wala na.
The last two, wala na.
The last two, wala na. So, could,
So,
do we read from the...
yeah, we'll just read.
Meron tayong mga
from-
comment questions
Sure,
sa
sure.
live.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Tita Cecil, I'll leave it up to you to...
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, ang daming questions sa
So,
comments, but
sobrang
we can...
dami, we can only
can answer
accommodate
everything.
maybe a few.
So, maybe yung...
because of time constraint.
Yeah, maybe the embassy staff
Yeah.
or the consulate staff could answer them individually later on na lang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
What
they
you
have
can
time.
do is to ask your members to list down
Uh-huh.
all the questions that you received,
Yeah.
and then to send it to us. Then we can send back the answers to you,
Yeah.
which you can post.
We can have an FAQ, frequently asked
Oo.
questions na advisory for you.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So,
So just maybe pick out some.
yeah, we'll just pick
just a
like
few.
one for
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
Kasi ito, ilang beses niya na nilabas.
Si Christine?
It's from, this one is from Rick Elda.
Rick,
Yeah, this is the fourth time I saw the
si
Well,
Rick.
question,
yeah,
the
it's a
same
simple
question
answer.
coming from Rick Elda. So sabi niya lang, can I get one appointment for notary and passport renewal? I guess it's both, just passport renewal and notary at the same
Sir,
time.
if I may answer
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
question. It's as long as you can get an appointment, of course you can apply for two services, get two services on the same day. As long as you get the appointment for both services. A lot of people have been trying, sabihin, nag-dual na ako, pwede ba mag-passport na rin ako? Hindi po pwede yun kasi po yung slot po for the passports are already filled. And as I said nga, as Conjan has been saying, we have space limits and number of people that are we can only allow a certain number of people to have that service on a certain amount of time kasi po even computers break down, even computers get tired, and we want to make sure that we give everybody the best service. Now if we take more than we can, more likely magkakaroon po tayo ng problema, and it will be a bigger problem for more Filipinos po.
Alright.
Babalikan ko ulit yung appointment. Ang nangyayari kasi, ang pag-release natin ng appointment, we inform Manila to that for next month we are going to have 96
Per day.
per
Actually since June, sir.
since June. Ang release ng ating slots ay 1 week before the ganun ba yun?
It was a month before. So for example ngayon,
June.
by June nalabas po natin ng May. So for July po, nilabas na po natin na ngayong June, and then for August ilalabas mo natin for July.
Oo. Maybe ang tanong natin ng mga nanonood ngayon, bakit di nyo pa kasi ilabas lahat hanggang December? Baka sakaling makawa kami ng appointment. Alam nyo, pag ginawa natin yon, at dahil sa dami ng mga aplikante, maybe in a week's time, ubos na lahat ng
Ubos na
slots.
lahat.
5 hours.
In 5 hours, nauubos,
Less than
di ba?
24 hours.
In less than, nauubos. Kaya namin inuunti-unti para at least kahit pa paano, may chance pa rin na kumakakuha yung iba
Yes.
ng slot.
Yes.
By just checking from time to time our website because nandun yung pagkuha ng appointment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so if I may,
Sure.
Christine Pamatan, this is from a customer service perspective.
Oo.
Do we have like customer service by phone na alam lahat ng information regarding embassy topics? I called one time and the guy did not have the knowledge to answer the questions. Sana meron tayo knowledgeable na tao by phone. So do we have like training for the staff to make sure they are knowledgeable in answering the questions and all that?
Okay, if I may, sir.
Sure.
So we are, the Philippine Consulate General continuously makes sure that everybody is updated on all the information as much as we can. Lahat po yan, from the guard, from our hall officers, of course, all the way up to Consul General Badajos. However, not all problems can be solved with just one question and one answer. So pag wala pong maibigay na sagot, hindi po sabihin na hindi alam, ha? Ang ibig po sabihin na there has to be siguro po kulang ng details, kailangan po ng mas maraming impormasyon, and we do our best to give that. Kaya po nagbibigay po tayo ng email addresses kung saan po sila pwede mag-email para po mas masagot po in detail other pertinent matters.
Oh, and also isang programa natin dito in answer but that's a good suggestion. Thank you very much. isa nating gagawin din is that we will be having a regular what I call retooling seminar
Yes.
for our people, because from time to time ang Manila nagbibigay ng mga panibagong instruction on visa, on passport. So dito sa konsulado, I asked the Vice Consul Macris and Consul Ambo and Dayan to give a seminar to our staff every Friday or every other Friday, a seminar on the new regulations, so that if and when they receive calls or questions, alam nila yung isasagot. But tama si Macris na sometimes although alam ng tao yung sagot, but the circumstances are just so that they need more information.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tita Cecil, do you have
So-
any more?
Alright, so we have one more from our co-admin, Abigail Castillo. Kasi yung, it's regarding yung suporta sa mga small businesses. So, ang tinatanong niya, is it only limited sa mga food industry, restaurant owners,
Ano ba siya?
or she said
Ano siya?
sports.
Gym owner.
Yeah, gym owner.
She's a gym owner.
Alam mo, ang pwede natin gawin is to give, why don't we ask her to get in touch with our trade office?
Oh, yeah, trade office.
Okay.
What's the
So-
best way to get in touch with the trade office?
You can walk in anytime sa kanyang
Anytime.
opisina dito.
Pero what if they're remote? Pwede ba silang tumawag or mag-email?
We can show the contact
Yes.
details of
Okay.
So,
Pitik.
let's read it out so para
Okay,
masulat
yeah.
nila if they have a
At
pen.
least.
So if you have a pen, ito yung Abigail.
Abby, listen.
Abby, talon ka ng talon dyan.
Yeah.
So you can go to 3250. It's 3250 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 602 in Los Angeles. You can also call 213-388-1029. Once again, that's 213-388-1029.
Yung
Or-
email na lang.
Email them at losangeles@dti.gov.ph.
Los Angeles.tti. So we will publish this on the website.
Yeah.
Yes.
At nasa website din namin.
Namin.
yan.
So ika-copy
So,
namin sa
copy and
namin
paste.
sa
Oo.
group namin. Kasi we have to make this information viral. If it stays only on your website, they're probably not gonna read it. Well, we have to spread it.
Yeah.
We have to,
But you also have to, we should also tell our kababayans
To
that
read.
to read the website. It's there for a reason, and for it's a two-way street. We're giving the information. It's their responsibility.
Yeah, but
Okay.
as from a customer service standpoint, like for me, I disseminate the information
Yeah.
far and wide.
Mm.
So for example, I have a real estate listing, I can tell people just read this listing.
Yeah.
I put it in thousands of websites.
Yeah.
So ganun lang
Yeah.
just being proactive.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, if I may just add, what we do kasi we also tap our Philcom organizations whenever we have consular updates, we request them to also
Disseminate.
disseminate
happy
the
to help that.
information.
We have-
Also the
yeah.
newspapers.
Yeah.
Kasi we're the largest SoCal
Oh.
group, Filipino
Yeah.
group in 40,000 members.
For
And
almost
the
41.
engagement is high because we really study the algorithm on how
But
to
there's a
make the
certain
encryptions go.
Maharlika
Maharlika.
is following is 1 million.
But that
Yeah.
one is not limited to SoCal. Sila
Ah.
Ito po
Yeah.
is
ito
only
SoCal.
limited to
SoCal.
SoCal Pinoy.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yun naman. So, hindi naman limited sa website and Facebook. We also partner with various media organizations like Balitang America
Yeah.
and whatnot, GMA,
Yeah.
to also
Yeah.
disseminate the information.
Correct.
Yeah, so ganun na. So ganun na lang. So yung mga tao, they should, be diligent. And on the other hand, we have our role to disseminate the information far and wide para
Right.
as a fail-safe measure.
Right.
Yeah.
Kasi di ba, ano bang may kasabihan?
No, servisyo din sa mga members natin.
Yeah.
2 is 1,
Yeah.
1 is none. There has to be redundancy. Yun ang tawag.
Yeah.
Right.
Repetition. Para at least, they can recall, they can remember.
Right.
At hindi na nila makakalimutan yung mga iba nilang papeles
True.
kapag punta nila sa appointment nila dito.
Yeah. Do we have more questions?
So, I guess we're kind of like way over time.
So,
Very
Let's
yeah.
have one last question.
One last question.
Tita
Sure.
Cecil, I leave it up to
Okay,
you.
you're gonna leave it up to me.
Yung mga
Okay.
behave na questions.
Oh yeah, behave question ito. Ito galing ito kay Ate Daisy ha. Ate Daisy, question nyo po
Manang
ito.
Daisy, kamusta?
Yeah, tinatanong
Si
nila yung
Manang
phone
Daisy ko yan.
number ng consulate. So kanina,
Also,
naibigay na natin yung number. So we'll
Manang
repeat it for you one more time, Ate
Paki-publish
Daisy.
na lang sa website niyo. Yung
Okay,
ating
ang
contact.
trunk line po natin is We also have hotlines that are after hours. Please, yung after hours hotline po natin. Hindi po yun para makakuha ng appointment, kundi para po sa atin yung mga concerns, immediate concerns. So this is 213-268-9990. Also 213-269-7852. And of course, our Assistance to Nationals hotline, it's 213-587-0758. Lahat po ito mahahanap po sa ating website sa philippineconsulateLA.org.
Alright. So, Ate Daisy, ayan, nadinig
Ate
nyo.
Manang Daisy, salamat sa
lahat ng
tanong
numbers.
nyo.
So maraming salamat Cecil and
Thank you.
Charles.
Okay, any
for,
final words from our consul?
Well, my final word is to thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Consul.
Charles and Cecil
Thank
and
you very
SoCal,
much.
of course,
Yeah.
because it's really a good. What we have done is a very good
Yeah.
joint undertaking
To get
between our two
understanding.
groups, because we are promoting greater awareness. We are able to reach out to more people, to your 40,000 followers, and growing. I understand it's growing, and I think this is how we are able to really promote a good working relationship between and among the members of our community.
Right.
There is nothing, no misunderstanding that we cannot resolve for as long as we keep an open mind. And please understand, mga kababayan, ang mandado ho natin is that we are here to serve. It is not in our best interest not to serve you. Remember that. Because the moment we neglect our duties, ay baka pagpauwi na kami ng ating presidente. Okay? And we thank you, and you, and your
Thank you,
members,
Consul.
because you are partners really in serving the community. You're doing a lot for our communities through your information dissemination, through your various projects and activities, through your own advocacies. Hindi lang ho kami dito ang tumutulong sa ating community, kayo din. We are all together in this endeavor.
Yeah.
You strengthen us, we strengthen you. We work together for the benefit of our community.
Okay, thank you
Yes,
po,
thank you very
Consul. And na-enlighten sana kayo that
Yeah.
the consulate is doing their best with the cards they're dealt. So just give them understanding and read the website. Again, I can't emphasize this. Ano ulit yung website?
It's philippineconsulateLA.org.
philippineconsulateLA.org. I-bookmark nyo na yan, and then bago kayo magpunta, basahin nyo na lahat ng dapat yung basahin.
Kinder ka pa lang, on nursery, sinasabi na ng teacher, homework mo, gawin mo ha. Bago ako pumunta ng school. Dapat ganin din ho tayo. Kung may kailangan kayo sa consulate, magpa-passport, do your homework. What do I mean by that? You can read our website to make sure na lahat ng requirements ay dala mo.
Okay.
So, sa ulit po,
Sa
mga
ulit po.
kabayan,
Magbasa.
kasukal. Yes.
Magbasa. Read. If you can devote 5 hours reading your Facebook, if you can devote 2 hours doing TikTok, if you can do other things on social media, please use at least 5 to 10 minutes of that time reading our website for you to understand really what are the requirements for passport renewal and for other consular services. Maraming salamat ulit, Charles and Cecil, and to our SoCal friends. Thank you very much.
And thank you also
Yeah,
to the
thank
consular
you.
staff.
Yes,
Our
and
Vice
thank you to
Consul.
our Vice Consul Macris and also to our Consul Dayan. And of course,
Si Miss
sa
Jos.
aming pinakamagandang Miss Jos.
Alam niyo bang si Jos ay
Sir, pwede pong
dating beauty queen yan? Hindi, wag mo patayin. Ilalive natin. Ilalive natin. Okay. Hindi alam ng mga karamihan nito. When he was young,
Pero na-obvious ko naman eh.
Hindi. Oh. Bata pa siya. Lagi na siyang sumasali sa mga beauty contests. Look at her. She's pretty, right?
Yeah.
So, kinder, second runner-up.
There you
Okay.
go.
Elementary, second runner-up.
Alam ko yan.
High school, second runner-up. College, second runner-up. Like, second runner-up. Can you imagine? Right? Mga
Magulat
beauty
yung judges,
contest.
Because there were only 2 contestants.
Magkakaroon
Ayun.
ng edad.
O di bale,
So I asked her.
magkagawa tayo ng pageant.
So I asked her why is it that you're always second runner-up? Diyos, sabi ko, from kinder to college. Ba't puro second runner-up ka? So inamin ni Diyos. Kasi sir, lagi lang kong dalawang contestant eh.
Oh Lord. Kawawa naman si Diyos. Di bale, gagawa tayo ng
But before we close, we brought gifts for everybody.
Oh wow, you shouldn't have bothered.
yeah.
Tita Cecil. Ay, nagdala ng gifts.
Yeah, we
Shut
brought
mo na.
gifts for
Can we cut this?
everyone. So, huwag mo muna i-close, Charles.
Ah, hindi ba?
Hindi pa pwede.
Oo nga, hindi.
Ay,
We
hindi
cannot
pala
show
So,
it.
ito po,